All right, guys. So welcome to this case study slash testimonial video. I'm here with my man, Todd. Todd's been a client, what, over like probably about 16, 17 months now?
Yeah, at
Something
least.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this video, guys, is just to, again, give you a lot of clarity around like Todd's perspective and, you know, Todd being in the program this long, like what he's seen, and just give you feedback on, you know, Todd's experience and seeing if this would be a potential solution for you, possibly. So, Todd, welcome to the call here, man. Just go ahead, tell a little bit about yourself and ultimately, what really made you decide to work with me in the program.
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah, Dave, thanks for having me here. So I joined probably about 18 months ago. Was kind of in a pretty bad, I think, health space, and probably a mind space too. I was pushing about 260, 265, the heaviest I ever was. I was an athlete growing up, a very successful athlete, D1 athlete in college. I just got kind of, I think, in that space that we all get into, and made excuses, a lot of excuses, and finally had a break point when my business partner, said maybe we need to kind of clean our lives up a little bit and get healthy. And he met you, Dave, and that started on this 18-month process.
Cool. So from being in the program this long, like, what do you feel like for you, like from a results standpoint and ROI standpoint, like what have been the biggest things that you've noticed overall?
Well, number one, weight loss. I mean, I'm down to about 170 now. And I
Yeah.
would say a healthy 170. I did the Ironman before I put on all that weight, and even when I did the Ironman, I didn't look this good. And it wasn't a half Ironman; it was a full Ironman. And that was right when I was in college. I would say the weight thing. I think the interesting piece and kind of fun side benefit is seeing people after COVID, because a lot of this started. I started with you, I think, in October, right before COVID started.
Oh,
So I started to see a lot of my results when people were in lockdown, right? So I didn't see a ton of people for a year and a half. So most of the time I was in this process. So I would see people then after, recently, and they would be like, "Hey, nice to meet you." It was like, "Who the hell are you?" So which was kind of fun. So that tells me it obviously worked pretty well. So
yeah. What do you think, like, I mean, aside from results, like from a value perspective about the program, like what was like super valuable to you if you had to like pick like one or two things?
I think it gives you a lot more confidence that, I think we all think I'm pushing my late 30s,
Yeah,
that your best
we're like
time,
the same age.
we're
Yeah.
the same age. Yeah. Yeah. That your best, physical time is in your 20s or maybe your early 30s at best. I would say that again, I look the best now as I've ever had in my entire life. And as I said, I'm pushing my late 30s. I still have a full head of hair, which is important too, at least to me. But it's that confidence piece, it's, I think the structure of knowing, diet and exercise and kind of like what, kind of my week theoretically looks like from a training perspective, and also having the freedom to to eat kind of what I want and knowing how to eat and not having this like defined meal plan, but relearning these important tools and actually how to live life, but properly,
Yeah.
it was a really big benefit for me.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, like, and if you could elaborate on like, or just go into a little more detail on a few of the things that make this different than like, something else possibly out there, meaning like some of the testing, some of that stuff as well that we've done just to really dial things in on more of a specific level for you from like I mean and a bunch of other clients too from like a not only a health standpoint but also like building muscle, looking at hormone profiles, like looking at that
Yeah.
stuff. um could you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think what's important about this program is, it's backed by data, but data from my own body, and using that as a real metric for evaluation and then for procedures and next steps, right? And also recognizing, that it's continuous improvement, right? And it's, you have to keep looking at these things and tweaking and, pushing, and because that's what it is. I mean, it evolves, right? And if you don't measure it, what's the point, right? So, I mean, I wasn't measuring it before, and that's how I got to be 260, because I always thought that, hey, if you do X and Y, you're fine, right? But you lie to yourself, and so this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
You measure, and then you work from there. So
Yeah, you've got to also like enjoy like the process in some way, right? Like, I mean, there's been several times that you hit me up and you're like, dude, like just recently, you're like, dude, I just like crushed like, drinks and all this stuff for like 3 or 4 days in a row. But the more you're on this process, your body is like tells you, hey, like probably gonna want to get back on the wagon. You know what
get
I
on the
mean? Because it
process.
tells you
Yeah,
really fast, because it's like as you start getting healthier, it's like now you're that person, you are that healthy person. It's like your body doesn't react to those same things like before, like you might not even recognize it just because you're so used to feeling that way in a
yeah,
sense
exactly.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I told you I had eczema my whole life, right? I mean, that's something you and I talked about. When I met with you, I never wore shorts. I had eczema over most of my body. I was embarrassed by it.
Mm.
And I don't have any, like none right now. And I don't take any medicine. I didn't, it just went away from all the stuff that we've been doing and has not come back. Which to me tells me what's happening on the inside, right? So I could see the stuff on the outside. The tests show what's happening on the inside, and then that for me reinforces it. So
Yeah, cool. And just to put it out there, like to anybody watching this, you know, Todd's got some pretty big goals, over the next year or so, and would you mind,
sharing my
sharing that? Yeah.
sharing my my selfish goals. Yeah, no, I
Oh,
mean,
dude,
so
selfish is good, man. More people
yeah,
need
no,
selfishness.
yeah, no. I mean, I'm a huge supporter of the arts. I've always loved art, and a long time ago, got into tattoos and have a lot of them now and more. And I thought it'd be fun if part of this process was, kind of focusing on my body and focusing on the tattoos, obviously the art side of that, but then also saying like, what is the kind of the apex of that, right? What is the apex of physical health or the perception of it? And what is the apex or the perception of like tattoo art and it's being on the
Mm,
cover of Inc. magazine? And so for me, that's been a personal goal that I hope at some point over the next few years is fulfilled. I've been working with a phenomenal tattoo artist, the same artist the whole time, and so I think it could be a nice celebration for Chris and for you, Dave, where you've been able to get me, and for myself as well. So
love it. That's
yeah, you
huge,
guys
man.
actually, now that I think about it, like you guys give me all the pain. I deal with all the pain.
For sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I mean that's epic. I mean that transpires. I mean, like you're definitely gonna put in. I mean, you've up until this point. I mean, you're definitely like I have no doubt about like the work and everything that you're gonna put into it, and you've already put into it. It's just let the cards fall where they may. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all we can do. Yeah. So
And
um,
have fun doing it, right? I mean, I think
that's it.
that for me is the underlying piece, right? You have to enjoy it. And I've been really fortunate. My wife, has been a huge supporter for me with this. And quite frankly, I don't, I mean, she keeps me on the rails. I mean, you do too, but I think having a partner that supports it, and supports, your crazy stuff. She supports the tattoo stuff, right? She
Yeah.
supported me growing a ponytail during COVID. It's like, it's
Awesome.
she's a pretty special person and and very supportive with that stuff. And so I think that's another piece to this. And I don't think it's a necessity. I think you can do this by yourself, but I think if you have support, it always helps. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. So with that said, like for anybody watching this, like what would your, you know, being in the program up until this point, like what would your recommendations or advice be for somebody that's like even considering something like this?
I think you just have to take the first step and recognize that you don't know. You don't know best, right? And just because you knew how to work out in high school and maybe you were muscular back then, or you remember being muscular, maybe you really weren't. You don't know. And I think, you know, we all hire professionals to help us with things that we don't know, right? And this is no different. So hire a professional and listen. And I've told that to a lot of people that have started this program. I said, look, the most important thing you're going to do during this process is just close your mouth and listen and just follow what he says, because you know what you're talking about. And
ask questions. Yeah. And
ask questions, but
open.
like, don't think that you know more, because you don't, right? So it's just, and for all the things that I thought, which it's always the opposite. And I've seen that throughout this whole process, and it's, it makes it fun, you know, it makes it fun. And so trust an expert. And that's my advice to anyone.
Yeah. Let the ego, you know, let it go, ask questions and just be open. Cause like even me, like I'm learning things, like new things all the time. You know, I tell you guys that I'm a forever student when it comes to this stuff, you know, and that's what keeps me growing, you know, so that's key. Well, cool guys. Well, if you're watching this, there's probably somewhere around this video that you can drop like a hashtag CoreMale, or you can reach out to myself on social media. But Todd, appreciate your time today, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and doing this, and
thanks for the support. So.
Any last words?
No, I think, again, just do it, guys. I mean, the only thing that's holding you back is yourself, you know.
There you go. Mic drop. There you go. Drop the mic. All right. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.